What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week, to start off this video, I want to tell everyone welcome to the new Nazi America. Enjoy the dark times. Hopefully we can all get through this and get the brainwashed left back on track and get rid of the demon rats. It'll take a little time, but hopefully we can get America back to being real America again. For now, it's terrible. Terrible. The rich elite have taken over with the demon rats. So anyways, before all our rights get taken away, hopefully somebody will do something to get things taken care of. So this week I want to go over a show I just got done binge watching. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. It's called iZombie. It ran from like 2015 until 2019. Had about 5 seasons. Now, when I first started watching this show, I really wasn't all that much interested in it, only because the zombie thing has been done to death, literally, no pun intended. It's just been overdone, and most of the zombie flicks or whatever that you see are poorly done. It's just, most of them are junk. They're not even worth the time to watch them. You'll find a few of them that are okay, but the rest are just absolutely piss poor crap. So when this show first aired, I really wasn't interested in watching. But here lately, it's just, I decided to go ahead and give it a try, only because there's really not a lot of murder mystery type shows, crime shows that I'm really into lately, because most of them are the same old boring crap. Criminal Minds, CSI, all that junk, it's the same crap over and over again, and it's boring and redundant. I'm not into super heavy, thick dramas, like Hill Street Blues, True Bloods, that kind of crap, Blue Bloods or whatever it is. The one with Tom Selleck in it or whatever. Stuff like that, I'm not into that crap. I hate over-dramatized shows that are like soap operas. The new show FBI sucks. Most of your new crime, drama, murder mystery type stuff, it all sucks. It's terrible. So I'm not into most of that crap. I gotta have a little comedy in with it, That's why I like stuff like, when it comes to crime and drama, or, murder mystery type stuff. I liked Monk, The Mentalist, Lie to Me, Lucifer, even though it's got a supernatural twist and it's kind of a comic book thing. There's got to be something else with it than just plain drama. I just can't. When they're just straight arrows, it's just boring. I gotta have a little pizzazz with murder mysteries. Castle was good. You know, stuff like that, you know, where you have a little, you know, action, drama, comedy. You know, you've got all of them mixed in together. Someone tried to suggest to me to watch Bones. I could not get into Bones. It was just absolutely terrible. It was not funny. She's a pain in the ass, and her team sucks. The only good character on Bones was the FBI agent. He's the only good guy. The rest of the good character. The rest of them suck. So I couldn't get into that. Numbers, I couldn't get into that. Like he's solving everything by, you know, mathematical equations. It was just the most ridiculous thing ever. It was dumb. Well, enough of that. So I decided to watch this show called iZombie. I'll just fuck it. I'll give it a shot to see what it's like. Because I knew it had something to do with, you know, her solving crimes, murder mystery. She just had to eat the brains of the victim, and she would get visions to solve the crimes. Okay, whatever. From what I understand, it's based off a comic book. Never even heard of. So the first season is you really have to get through the first season. You got to push yourself to get through the first season, because the first season is not very good. Now, it was okay, but they were just getting into their characters. I didn't think she was all that great an actress. In fact, I didn't think any of them were decent except for David Anders, which is the one who plays Blaine, the bad guy. I like him, so his character was kind of interesting. So I kept watching because of him. And then he's really the only reason why I kept watching. I really did not like the guy who played, you know, Major Lillywhite or whatever his name is. I don't know why I did not like him at first. The guy who played Robbie, her boss, medical examiner boss, whatever, the Indian dude. I didn't really care for him all that much either. And she was, like I said, she wasn't all that great either. Rose McIver. What a name, McIver. Like MacGyver. Whatever. Anyways, Rose McIver is the one who plays the main character. She plays Liz. But I don't know. The whole story of her not wanting to get others zombified, so she's putting distance away from everybody now that she's a zombie. The story was kind of interesting at first, but then she like pushed everyone away. Didn't want anything to do with anybody, and it was just kind of, okay, whatever. You're still, technically you're undead, but you're kind of still living. But yet you're going to push everyone away that even cared about you. And it was just, I don't know. If she'd gone to a different like state or country or something, I would totally understand that. But she stayed in her hometown. She totally destroyed her relationship with her, you know, her mother and her brother. And then she automatically sabotages her relationship with her fiance. So it made a lot of sense. I mean, made like no sense whatsoever. It was just ridiculous. Major Lillywhite is some type of counselor who gets involved in some dead homeless kids that he's been trying to counsel. And Blaine, basically, he finds out about Liz, and they kind of start helping each other, which is kind of weird because he's the one off and off these kids and taking the brains so he can sell them. He makes this business out of selling brains to zombies in the city. Apparently there's more of them all of a sudden. Anyways, the first season is just ridiculous. It made no sense. Anyways, after you get past the first season, the show actually starts picking up, and it actually gets better by the second season. She has a best friend who pretty much tells her to screw off, takes off on her once she finds out she's a zombie, but even after she saves her life, so it's kind of weird. Major starts getting into some really weird shit. He gets doped up on the utopium, this drug, this weird drug that it's been selling on the streets that started all this shit to begin with. Supposedly there was a bad batch and it caused everybody who took it to become zombies at this weird gigantic boat rave party or some shit. And that's how she got turned. I don't know. But anyways, he goes through a drug addiction and comes back out of it. He starts doing some weird shit. Combined with this company that makes energy drinks called Rage Max or some crap like that. Damn it, I can't think of the name of the company. But anyways, the CEO of Max Rager, whatever, I think that's what it's called, the drink, energy drink that help make zombies or whatever. He kind of becomes the bad guy. His daughter kind of helps him out until she gets turned and he turns on her, and it's a big mess towards the end, but eventually he gets fucked, and in swoops in this new company called I can't remember what the new company called. Starts with an F. Fuller Geller or some shit like that. I can't remember. Anyway, they take over, buy out the Max Rager company. The whole company is basically full of zombies, and that's where you're in and into season 3. They basically take over all the zombie crap. They're trying to keep the zombie crap under wraps, and that's pretty much, you're dealing with that pretty much through all of season 3. Meanwhile, at the same time, Liv and the cop, the detective that she partners with, Clive, who's the black guy, they're going to solve cases. She helps him out. Now, he finds out eventually by season 3 that she's a zombie. He figures out what's going on. So now he's in on it, her being a zombie. Her partner, Robbie, he's pretty much known since season 1. He actually starts, the Indian dude that plays Robbie, he actually gets funny. It starts becoming pretty funny. He kind of starts making the show. And then actually, I started liking the guy who played Major. He starts getting funny too. I mean, they make a good team. But anyways, they kind of move in together and become roommates, yada yada yada. They all know what's going on with Liv by season 3. By season 4, the city's on lockdown. Seattle's in lockdown. They put a wall around the city, full of Geller or whatever the fuck it's called. that company, they take over the city pretty much and start policing the city. They're policing zombies and humans. Everybody knows that there's zombies now. The rest of the government is pretty much patrolling the outside walls of the city and put up this gigantic wall around the entire city. Blaine has to deal with his dad throughout the last few seasons, being this, I don't know, he kind of turns into this guru for the zombies. You know, they all start treating him like some messiah or some shit. That's over by season 5. Season 5 is a whole new ball of wax. Basically, they're trying to stop a war between humans and zombies getting out, and it almost happens, but doesn't quite. And by the end of season 5, they kind of jump ahead real far into the future, where they have like supposed virtual reality. And supposedly Liz and Major, they disappear and start a zombie island, yet nobody else knows about it except for Clive, her best friend Peyton, and who jumps from like an attorney to a DA to an active mayor, and then, you know, at the end a retired mayor. But anyways, Clive, who becomes a captain with his fiance or his wife, that's a long story too. But and then Robbie, who becomes like head of the CDC and is now married to Peyton. All ends well, that kind of thing. But then they offer them to come to Zombie Island and become zombies and live forever, kind of shit. And that's the end of the show. Like I said, you have to get past the first season. After that, the show becomes really good. It's decent. I liked it. There were just a few things that bothered me. I liked the Blaine character and I liked the Donnie character. I did not like the one they called the boss. I know it was supposed to be like a joke or whatever, but he really didn't come off as like a drug kingpin or whatever at all. It was kind of dumb. The whole idea of a bad dose of drugs is what creates zombies, mixed along with the Max Rager energy drink, was just kind of dumb too, but whatever, you know. One little nitpick that I really had was almost every episode, you have to watch her cook up the brains of the victim. Like she's a gourmet chef. She literally does like the most elaborate fucking recipes and fixes these brains. Like a fucking 5-star chef. Which is just fucking flat out retarded. Okay, we get she eats the brains. Why do you guys show her fix this elaborate meal every time? I give it 2 thumbs up. Check it out. Definitely, I recommend it. Check it out. It's a really great movie. Alright, this week we have moved on to Fantasy Week. So I got two fantasy movies for you, all you movie holics out there. There's a typical type of fantasy movie that I try to avoid doing reviews on. It's not that they're bad. It's just when I think of fantasy, I think more like Lord of the Rings type fantasy, high fantasy or whatever. But there's several different kinds. In fact, a couple of them could even be called sci-fi instead of fantasy. The first one is the whole comedy fantasy. You know, like the romantic comedies with a sci-fi or fantasy twist to it. The whimsical fantasy, I guess you would call them. I tend to avoid those, but there's a lot of them. I should probably start doing more of them. And I chose to do a couple of those this week. There's also, like, you know, several. You're going to find several genres in several movies, so it could be labeled one or the other. I also, from time to time, I tend to avoid the like the superhero movies, just because some of them can be considered fantasy, but they also lean a lot sometimes towards sci-fi, so you could go either route on those. But stuff like that, you know, I tend to not get into too much of that stuff. But I gotta start doing some of them. So this week, I did the whimsical comedy fantasy type movies this week. The first one is called Heart Condition. It was done in 1990. It starred Denzel Washington and it had Bob Hoskins in it. It didn't do all that great at the box office. It only made about $4 million. This also had Chloe Webb in it, which is not really that. She's not real well known. Basically, what happens is Bob plays this character who is a cop and he has heart problems. He ends up screwing himself pretty bad where he ends up having to get his heart replaced. Denzel Washington kind of plays this crooked attorney who Bob's constantly harassing, trying to get put his ass in jail. He's trying to catch him in the act. Denzel Washington character gets murdered right at the time he needs a new heart, so they end up putting the heart into him because it was convenient. He was there, he was a donor, so Bob's character gets Denzel's heart. Of course, Bob's not thrilled about this. He's pretty pissed. He doesn't want anything to do with Denzel's character, so he's pretty pissed that he's got his heart. Eventually, Bob starts seeing Denzel as a ghost. And Denzel tells him it's because he has his heart. He can't physically touch anything except for Bob. Anything else he cannot touch. Kind of like a ghost. Anyways, he talks Bob into trying to solve his murder, which ends up being more than he thought it was. It actually leads to some guys who are trying to kill his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, who used to live with him, Bob. Which was also at one point in time Denzel's girlfriend. So he eventually figures out that his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, is actually going to have Denzel's baby. He decides to help her out. He helps her and the baby because she ends up having the baby or whatever. And the guys kidnap her and the baby, and he's got to go after these. I think they're gun smugglers, and he's got to go after them. He ends up killing all of them. It nearly kills himself. And then at the end, it shows them, him and his ex, they get back together and they end up getting married. And he ends up becoming the father of Denzel's baby. And that's the end of the movie. It's all right movie. It's not super funny, but it had its moments in it. I give the movie a decent run. It was all right. There really isn't any CGI, you know, guns shooting and that kind of crap. The ghost thing, maybe, if you want to count that, but it really wasn't really that main CGI work. So, you know, whatever. It's for what it was, I'll give it a 3. You know, it was decent enough to keep the story moving along. The acting was really good. You had some really good actors in this, so I give the acting a solid 3. It was definitely decent. As far as the story, it was unique in a way. It hasn't been really done that often. So I'm gonna give the story a 4 because it, you know, at least a -4 because it was unique. It hadn't been done a whole lot. I think I've seen something similar. You know, a body part, or somebody gets a body part and there's a ghost or some crap like that kind of thing. You know, I've seen it maybe once or twice before. It's not a real popular story. You know, maybe on a television series or a sci-fi show or some crap like that, a horror story. But otherwise, I give it a -4 because it was unique. So it was a good story for overall. So overall, the movie, like I said, it wasn't really funny a whole lot. It had some funny parts in it, but it wasn't like extremely funny. But overall, I'll give the movie a 3+. It was decent enough to watch. You know, keep you entertained. I'll give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. It's okay. Wasn't bad. Wasn't great. Check it out if you want. If you want to, you know, kind of sci-fi, fantasy, comedy type thing. Moving on. The next movie I want to discuss with you or go over is called Mr. Destiny. And it was also done in 1990. It grossed about 16 million worldwide. So it did okay, but it really didn't do all that great either. Now this starred Jim Belushi and Michael Caine as Mr. Destiny. And then you had Linda Hamilton, which is James Belushi's wife in the movie. Or Jim Belushi, whichever. Basically, this is the run-of-the-mill. What would have happened if if I could have done a certain moment in time differently? How would my life have turned around? You know, you have what consider alternate universes, where if a person does something differently in their life at some point in time, it could branch off and go in a different direction of their life, and things would be completely different than what they are now. And with this character, Jim Belushi's character, he plays Mr. Burroughs. I can't remember the first name of the character. Anyways, his starts with when he was a kid and he was playing some baseball game. Apparently, if he would have hit the ball instead of missing it, he missed it originally, and so he's got the life he does now. But if he would have hit the ball, things would have been completely different. He would have married the prom queen, been the president of the company that he's at now, because he would be married to the company's father's daughter, the owner's daughter, that kind of thing. He would have been rich, blah 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 blah. So basically, Mr. Destiny changes things and lets him see what it would be like if he had gone the other route, if he'd hit the ball instead of missing it. He starts enjoying it at first, and then he realizes he actually misses his old life. He was married to Linda Hamilton, and they were basically high school sweethearts who got married, and it's his best friend. He basically starts trying to get back with her with this new life, which is a mistake, because now everybody's like, what the hell's going on? His wife now thinks he's cheating on her. He actually has a mistress played by Courtney Cox, and now she's pissed at him too. It's nuts. But this main part of the story is that he actually finds a crooked VP in the company, and he tries to stop him from selling the company out from the old man who owns the company. He doesn't realize what's going on, so he gets in there and gets that stopped. But eventually Mr. Destiny puts everything back to the way it was, and next thing you know, he's getting a promotion, and all's well and good. He got a promotion to being senior VP, which is the guy he stopped from selling the company or whatever. He basically took his job, and his wife is back with him. Everything's good, hunky dory. It's a good family type movie. It's not bad. The acting is definitely again, the acting is really good in this, so I'm gonna have to say -4, because you have some really great actors in this entire movie. So the acting's spot on. The fantasy type wise, again, CGI, whatever, it's decent for what it was. So it definitely gets a solid 3+. Nothing too crazy or anything. And then the story's been done many times, so I'm just going to give it a 3. It's decent. A decent story. Everyone's seen it or heard it before. So overall, I'll give this definitely a 3+. It's a really good movie. It wasn't incredibly funny again, but it was alright. It was funny in some parts, but it was still a good movie to watch. I give it 2 thumbs up. Check it out. You got some really great actors in this. If you like good family fantasy comedies. This is definitely a good one to watch. Definitely, I recommend it. Check it out. It's a really great movie. That's all I have for you this week. And until next time, if you want to leave your thoughts or opinions about anything I said earlier in the video about like iZombie or whatever, I would like to hear them. Leave them in the comment section down below. If you know of any gems or underrated movies that I may never have heard of or seen before, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll check them out and review them as soon as I can. Again, that's all I have for you this week. Until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.